What idea do you most believe in?
Go as you go. It means to, first of all, is a phrase that I came up with. And it means to make steps today to create tomorrow. You are who you are. Come how you are. Do what you love. And learn as you go.
Do what you love, learn as you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a spiritualist. This is a artist extraordinaire. This is a entrepreneur. This is an infinity epitomized in a human being. This is one of my best friends, BlvckProfessor, and I'm here. He's here, and we're in Atlanta, Georgia right now. Right now it is, I think it's March 3rd. I'm glad to be here, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
My G.
Thank you, bro. You already.
Thank you, my G.
You already. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. We want to do this for a minute. And there's so many questions I want to ask you because your perspective on life is very unique, very intuitional, And I just want to ask you, what do you feel like the intuition is?
Intuition is, it's that feeling you get when, you're in a situation and you might get this feeling out of nowhere in your stomach or something. And you just be like, man, why my stomach hurt? Like, I know I ain't eating nothing bad. You feel me? Why my stomach hurting? Just like out of nowhere. And then later on you find out wherever you was going or wherever you ended up going, some shit happened where, it was a negative event, you feel me? And you look at it and you're like, damn, I had that feeling, that internal feeling before. I felt like, my stomach was hurting, but I didn't relate that pain to like something that can happen. And that's what it really be. It be like, even in certain parts of your body, it ain't always the stomach, You can get, it can come from any part of your body. You just gotta pay attention to what you feel and your environment and your surroundings. Like when you feel that, look at your surroundings and what you doing and how you thinking. You know what I mean? And
so use that internal feeling that you felt as a state to be hyper aware of what's going on in that moment.
That's like a nudge from the universe. Like I call the universe, it could be a lot of different names. You could say God, universe, you could say Yahweh, Jah. Everybody got their names, but I feel like it's all a part of one,
Yes.
I don't know why I just put this up. That's just crazy.
It's like one entity, one power, one. Because even when you did that, I think of the Trinity. You know what I mean? Where you said one.
Yeah, right.
And that's even because that's what it is. You know what I mean?
I naturally did that too.
Yeah, naturally, exactly.
You feel me?
That's what I'm saying, because it's natural.
That's
a natural thing. That's the intuitional, as you say, where intuition where you don't really think about it. Your body just reacts. So your body showing you, it's almost like your heart beating. You can't control your heart beating, but you can be aware of the moments where it just makes you aware. You know what I mean? Like where you just take everything that's going on with you as the universe, because it is the universe. So you're just like, damn, my stomach hurt right now, or my eyes just went. I was just thinking about something, all of a sudden my mind skipped to this other thought, and sometimes we don't give credit to the thought, or that could be something like a key to what we want to achieve. We kind of just think of it as like random. You know what I mean? So for you, has it just been looking at things in your life like that wasn't random?
Yeah, like I just always notice certain patterns in my life and certain things that would happen in a certain way in my life. And that's what made me pay attention to it. Like, that's what made me even find out about intuition, because I started realizing the patterns in my life and seeing certain shit and you know, when I do get these feelings, I always know that it'll be something that'll happen. You feel me? Like, just paying attention to those patterns, it led me to know intuition and, you know, really
like process it like a certain way.
Nah, it's just like use it like not even use it, like access it to, you know, use it to your advantage, you know what I mean? Because you know, you feeling these things, you know something's gonna happen. So
yes,
it's just
don't ignore the feeling.
Yeah, don't ignore it. You know, just it's.
Why do most people ignore it?
They probably just don't know what it is. They probably think it's maybe it's
you think
the
it's
way
fear sometimes, like fear that we don't be listening to ourselves. Like
I don't think it's fear, bro. I think it's like the way that things are programmed to us. We think certain things mean something. Just be like say you out somewhere, you might think your stomach hurting because you ate the wrong thing today. Like, oh, I ate a burger this morning, or I ate some bullshit this morning. That's why my stomach hurt. But nah, you didn't. Your stomach was hurting because some bad shit was about to happen. You feel me? And then you see that, and then you just be like, "Oh, some bad shit just happened." Like you just don't even connect that shit. You just be like, and you just go on about your day.
You take it superficially. You just stay superficial. Like I don't go into the depths of what you basically you don't correlate it.
And actually, what's crazy is another thing. My art and my music really brought me into my intuition.
I was going to ask you about that.
Because
I was going to ask you about that.
My art and my music, when I do my art and my music, I use situations in my life. So it's like, you know, this me. You feel me? All that.
All this.
You feel me?
You see this?
When it's a message in everything. You feel me? So when I look back at my art, I listen to my music, I notice those patterns that I've been going through. You know, it's like a time capsule for me when I could look back. It's just like journaling, bro. Like, for real. Like, all these art pieces is like a piece of my
that you say you told me that every piece is a story. Every piece is a lesson.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but this is not even the extent of, there's depth in these creations, but that's what they are, creations. The source, the create, not even creator, the create, period, is... So listening to that, so it's just giving you a taste of like your capabilities. Like, so intuition brought you more into, because where did it come from? You said your art brought you more into your intuition.
My art was like the first point where I started realizing, you know, my patterns. Like, I started noticing how people react to what I do and what I say. You know what I mean? That's really what started it. When I started seeing people's reactions to what I do and what I say through my music, then I just was like, okay, my music is really my real life. So it's like, if they responded to me in my music this way, they responded to me in real life this way. Yeah. You feel me? So
if it's able to be expressed this way, true say.
All right, and at first, what's crazy is the program that was put on me as a child, I guess through schooling or things I was watching, you know, that was put upon me. Like, not things that I really necessarily thought were true or I went to. Like, it was just things that were like brought to me, like, okay, this is what you're supposed to be. This is the image of a man. This is the image of who you're supposed to be. This is the image of a successful person. Like, that type of shit, it made me like, when I started creating myself as a artist, I separated myself as an artist from the person that I am. Like, I was under the program that I had to
for him to exist, it had to be
a separate entity. A separate entity. Like, it had to be a different existence. You know what I mean? Like,
based on the programming.
Yeah, like,
it's like the program was there in the place of where the artist should be. Okay, I get you saying.
Yes. So like, in the beginning, that's why I really wasn't, you know, connecting shit for real, because I was just making music and then thinking that shit was a whole nother thing. But it's really telling my life story, you feel me? It's really, once I look back at it, you know, after time go by, it's really after time go by. Like, you don't see that shit in the beginning. Yeah. But after time go by, like I've been making music for over 10 years. Like, so it's just like, after time go by and you see what you've done and all the things that you created and what they mean to you. You can
where you were at in that time of your life, like definitely for each stage, you can really see the stage or the perspective even of yourself at that point, even in your music.
You can see your limits, your boundaries, your restrictions, your likes, your dislikes,
your traumas,
your insecurities. All that shit come out. All that shit.
So it's giving you. So it almost, you already had a depth, but it gave you more of a awareness of your depths.
Of who I really am, for real. For real.
Damn, it's crazy because a lot of people, when they even say like, "I know who I am," it's like they don't have any, I would say, achievements or accolades that even shows that they know who they are. You just supposed to just believe them just off the strength of them saying it. Right. But then a lot of times they don't know who they are. They actually, because they haven't created anything with that energy. I feel like if you knew that energy, you'd create something with it after a time, after you knew how it worked. Right. Because we all have that same energy. It's no different from, I'm no different from you. It's just the level to which I know I'm a conduit for it. You know what I mean? And for you, it seems like you definitely, you was already a conduit within the programming.
Facts.
You know, so now that you've gotten to this point, it's just like, wow, no, I'm not even a conduit in the program. I'm just a conduit in my own programming now. Boom. All right, so what's the next step from that? I see. So so now you have this relationship with intuition. You realize the relationship between intuition and your art. I want to ask you, when do you feel like you spiritually awoke? Like, what was the stimulus to you realizing that you got into a place of spiritual awakening? What does that even mean to you, to be spiritually awakened?
Goodness gracious. You see, my phone just went off, and everything's for a reason. You feel me?
True say.
And
it was a state to make you aware.
Trinity was calling when he told me, when he just asked me that. You feel me? You know what I mean? But we just gonna keep that. We gonna let Trinity have that information. You feel me? So look, let me go ahead and put my shit on, goddamn. Let me go ahead and do that real fast. But yeah, so when I first got into my spiritual awakening, alright, so spiritual awakening.
What is that to you? What does that mean?
First of all, it means,
now what does it mean to you? Because the definition changes.
Yeah.
But what is it now at this point? What is it?
Now is alright, so it just consists of many levels.
Yes.
First of all.
Yes.
And like,
and you have
to like die a lot of times. Like a lot of parts of you gotta die. Like, for real.
like a ego death, like so on level. So
ego
death.
Because
remember, so we say, okay, so it's an ego death. It's a death of the shadow. Because then you become your shadow. So you kill the shadow because you kill it in the sense that you don't make it separate from you. You just make it, you're a complete human, you're a complete balance. Because you learn that when you repress your shadow qualities, they actually become projections now. And so you start to project your shadow qualities on somebody else and say that's somebody else's qualities, but it's really your own qualities that you repress within yourself. And I feel like a lot of people have that very strong shadow and a lot of that that mental disease of repression and then projection, because we have a society that's supposed to be all positive. That's like the inclination of the society now. You're supposed to be positive and everything is love and light and, and joyous and, affirmations and affirmations and, I mean, no, that's what society is.
Yeah, you heard? We up in this bit like this, you heard? Yeah.
That's the energy. Exactly. You gotta have both sides. That's the real balance.
Yeah,
so I can live it. So I can live it. It's not, I don't project my anger on you. I don't project fear on you. I don't project doubt on you. I understand that these are things that may be going on, because I realize also you really can't All right. Here's an example. Here's a story. So I was having these negative thoughts and about a particular person. And I thought that I could like just straight dispel the thoughts, like stop being negative. And I was sitting there and it was going stronger. And it was getting stronger and I was like, damn, like, and I was like, I literally sat like, I literally had to sit down and I was like, really like put all my mental, like forget my physical, all my mental force and stop having these negative thoughts about that person and they wouldn't stop. It just kept getting stronger. And I was like, damn, like, even when I focus on it, right? So I said, okay, all right, let me do a different approach. So I relaxed and then I let myself think those negative thoughts. And then when I let myself think, like, I let myself say all those things within my head about them. And then I started visually imagining a scenario of me growing up and saying like the opposite to them. Like, and so it changed the narrative because I was able to accept the thought. It becomes a foundation, a standpoint in which I can move forward as opposed to trying to fight it. It was like, it was a real example of the law of non-resistance. And I learned to not be resistant to that shadow, you know, and I was okay. So don't resist a negative thought. Let it come. Then it's a standpoint for me to move forward. So even take that for failure, take that for mistakes. We don't like to solidify it in our reality, but you realize when you take responsibility and solidify that mistake, that failure, that negative thought, you now have a reference point for you to go into a new direction. But if you don't even accept it, you haven't even created the foundation for you to move forward. It's like you trying to step off concrete, but you stepping on styrofoam. You know what I mean? Feet slip because you ain't really accept that part of your reality. You know?
Right. That's a real important point just for intuition, period. Like acceptance, like, bro, you got to be able to accept the intuition when it comes. Because, like, you can really be in denial about it. It's real easy to be undeniable and be in disbelief about just everything, anything, and who you are. You know what I mean? That's another thing, like, when it comes to knowing yourself.
In who you are. Exactly. You feel me? Belief in yourself. It's crazy because you're sitting there not believing in yourself, but you're the only one who can really believe in yourself to any extent. Because I really believe that believe is be live. And it's like, I'm the only one who be lives. I ain't being. I be. I be live. I'm the only one who be live. So even if you come in contact with me, you don't know that I be live. You just know that you be live. And the only way that you know I be live is if I do it in front of you. So it's really like, you really do have to believe in yourself because that's a standpoint for somebody to even believe in themselves. I think that's what gives me the fuel I can believe in myself. You know what I mean? Like, be like, because believe is be live. Like,
lead by example. Lead by example.
Lead by example. Lead by example. I think that's imperative to lead by example. And it's like, it goes back to the point you said where you have to kill yourself sometimes. Because it's almost like mutiny. It's like, I gotta kill. It's like there's a captain, but then, let's say you're the captain, there's a captain of the ship. You're the captain of the ship, but then there's a crewmate who think he's fine, and he actually is fine. You know what I mean? And you really gotta go and kill the captain of that ship and become the captain and start really driving that ship because you was growing in that part of you in secret. Like, you was working on, like, while the captain's sitting there chilling at the wheel, you know, smoking a cigar, you actually sitting and pulling up the mask and checking the wind direction, and you actually putting in the work, and boom.
So the boat is like a whole vessel. Like,
it's the whole vessel.
The boat is like, and the crewmates is parts of you.
Yes, it's parts of you. And somebody getting fired. But you the captain and you chill. You know what I'm saying? You chill. Like, you got the wheel and you, go in that direction. You don't really be holding it and like, you feel what I'm saying? Because I know where I'm going. I got too comfortable. And this dude pulling up the mask, like, I'll kill it. I'm mutiny this nigga, bro.
Turn your back on me.
I'm muting.
Turn your back.
I'm taking that coat, nigga. I'm taking that cow.
This nigga milking the cow.
Everything, bro. Everything. You trying to feed the crew. You doing everything, bro. He getting fired with it. He flying with it. He pulling up the mask on the ship. He said he pulling the udders. I'm about to feed my crew, son. You slacking, bro. I know.
On the boat, they got a cow on the boat.
Listen, I know all parts of the ship. You don't even know this section. I know how.
You don't even know this section. Nigga, it's cows down here. Nigga,
cows down. You don't even know there's cows down here. We got milk. Niggas down here making chocolate milk.
But they got a whole section of cows in the boat. Damn, just making milk and shit.
So it gets to a point where you feel like you can run the shit better. You can run the shit better. You're gonna go through your own. But it just goes back to you. Sometimes you got to kill that part of yourself, usurp that part of yourself so that you can be lived to the highest extent. That's a scary thing because, as your crewmate, I got to run a whole ship. So it's even getting to the point where, with that part of yourself, that crewmate is saying, damn, I'm about to kill this part of myself.
And this is the thing, like, all them parts that you kill yourself,
they don't. It's not like they really die. Yeah, exactly.
Because like at one point, it's like you gotta like bring all your crewmates together, even the ones that you put to the side. Like you gotta use all of them. All of the parts of yourself are valuable. I'm about to make an anime
of this shit. I'm thinking about somebody because a crewmate killing a captain, and what happens is you absorb their soul or something.
The boat absorbed the power or something.
Or you have like
the boat
you
gets
kill
superpowers.
Exactly,
it elevates as you
like
kill
you still
people.
you still have the knowledge of the captain that came before you type.
That's
even though you just killed him, like you just absorbed his knowledge or you absorbed his soul or some shit like that. He still you be doing it, but he'd be speaking from behind you, like.
But they did that on they did that on
Avatar or
Heisenberg. What is that?
It sounds familiar. Heisenberg. Heisenberg. God. Because I feel it. This Heisenberg. Who's Heisenberg?
Heisenberg. What is the name of that shit, right?